The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 930. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. If you're tired of being the best-kept secret in your industry, listen up. You don't need to be louder, you need to be seen. Grab my free Visible Framework Toolkit, the exact steps I use to go from overlooked to being the go-to expert people turn to for impact and insight. Download it now at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend, welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and first off, I wanted to say Happy 2026. And I hope your year is off to a good start. Today I actually wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of me interviewing somebody, I actually wanted to do a solo episode because I wanted to help you start the year right, especially when it comes to confidence, visibility, and leadership. And so I hope today's episode will help you jumpstart your year in the right direction. As we step into 2026, leadership is changing, whether we're ready for it or not. Being good at your job is no longer enough. Being confident is no longer enough. Even being talented is no longer enough. We are living in a time where leadership is more visible, more public, and more perception-driven than ever before. People are forming opinions about your leadership before you speak, before you enter the room, sometimes before you even meet them. And that's why today I want to talk about why visibility is no longer optional and why the Visible Framework has become a leadership requirement, not a personal development add-on. Over the years, I've worked with leaders across industries, whether it's corporate, entrepreneurial, or creative, and I kept hearing the same thing. I'm doing the work, but I'm still being overlooked. I'm confident, but my voice isn't landing. I know I'm capable, but I'm not being recognized. Those conversations are what led me to write my book, Bridging the Confidence Gap. Because what I realized is this: the confidence gap isn't just internal. It's structural, it's cultural, and very often it's a visibility gap. We've told people to build confidence, but we haven't taught them how to be seen, be heard, or be trusted in environments that weren't designed for them. Confidence is important, but confidence alone doesn't change outcomes. You can be confident and still be overlooked. You can be capable and still be invisible. You can do exceptional work and still not be associated with leadership. Especially in 2026, where work is hybrid, influence is digital, decisions are made without everyone in the room. Confidence without visibility doesn't influence decisions, and leadership without influence doesn't move systems. That's why I created the Visible Framework. Being visible is not about self-promotion for attention. It's not about being louder. It's not about becoming someone you're not. Visible is about strategic presence. It's a framework that helps leaders be seen without overperforming, be heard without over-explaining, be respected without shrinking. And in 2026, these aren't soft skills. They are leadership competencies. Right now, I'm going to walk through the Visible Framework and what the pillars are. The pillars are based on the word visible, and each letter represents something. So let's start with V for voice. Voice is about clarity and contribution. In leadership, voice isn't about talking more, it's about speaking with intention. This shows up when you hesitate to share an idea in a meeting, you soften your language to avoid pushback, you wait for validation before speaking. In 2026, leaders are evaluated by how clearly they communicate direction, not how much they know. If you don't use your voice, someone else defines the narrative. I is for identity. Identity is knowing who you are and what you stand for, especially under pressure. Leaders without a clear identity overwork to prove themselves, over-explain to be understood, shift based on who's in the room. When your identity is clear, your decisions are consistent, your leadership feels grounded, people trust you more. Identity creates coherence, and coherence creates credibility. S is for spotlight. I want to pause here because this matters. I'm okay with self-promotion. Because self-promotion, when done with integrity, isn't ego, it's communication. If the work you're doing creates impact, people deserve to know about it. Spotlight is about owning your contributions, naming your wins without apology, allowing your work to be visible. In 2026, visibility is not vanity. It's responsibility, especially if your voice hasn't always been centered. I is for inner work. Inner work is what makes visibility sustainable. As leaders gain visibility, internal pressure often increases. Self-doubt, over-responsibility, and the urge to constantly prove yourself can take over. Inner work allows leaders to regulate their responses, stay grounded under scrutiny, and lead from intention rather than fear. Without inner work, visibility becomes draining. With inner work, visibility becomes something you can carry consistently and confidently. B is for belief. Belief is trusting yourself enough to take up space. Not shrinking, not waiting for permission, not overqualifying every decision. Belief shows up when you speak without rehearsing every sentence, make decisions without needing consensus, trust your judgment. Belief turns potential into leadership presence. L is for leverage. Leverage is about using what you've already built strategically. In 2026, leadership is collaborative, not isolated. Leverage means knowing when to partner, amplifying others, using your platform intentionally. The question is no longer, how hard are you working? It's, how are you leveraging your influence? E is for elevation. Elevation is about lifting others as you rise. Leadership isn't just personal success, it's collective impact. Elevation shows up when you create space for others, you mentor, sponsor, or advocate, you redefine what leadership looks like. This is how cultures change. This is how systems shift. Organizations that ignore visibility will struggle with retention, leadership pipelines, engagement, and trust. When people don't feel seen, they disengage or they leave. The visible framework gives leaders and organizations a shared language for confidence, presence, and influence. And shared language creates culture. As you step into 2026, I want to leave you with this question. Where in your leadership are you confident but not visible? And what would change if you allowed yourself to be both? If this resonates, bridging the confidence gap goes deeper into the internal and systemic shifts leaders need to make, and the visible framework brings that work into action. You'll find the book and details about my talks and leadership programs in the show notes. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I wanted to leave you with this message. Confidence prepares you. Visibility positions you. Leadership requires both. Thank you for starting 2026 with me, and I'll see you in the next episode. You can now purchase The Tao of Self-Confidence, a guide to moving beyond trauma and awakening the leader within on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Walmart, Indigo, and other major book retailers. Get your copy today. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get your daily boost of confidence.